Welcome to the channel. This is Michael with Copy Nerds. You can find us at copynerds.com. In this video, we're going to discuss the PrintAnyWay Core Service Manager. Let's go ahead and open the Service Manager up. The first thing you're going to see is the service state. The task service and the LPR service should be started and running. IPP service will be used with Google Chromebooks and gets enabled for use with Google Workplace. The Wi-Fi service is used for mobility printing from Android Mopria devices and iOS, iPhone, iPad devices. Service authentication allows you to choose whether or not you want these services to run as a local service or as a user account. To check the status of your service, you can choose to view the log file. This log will give you a date and timestamp with any error codes to help diagnose issues that may be stopping the service from running, or just give you a status update on the last time the service was stopped or started. Let's take a look at a few options for setting up a follow user print queue. Let's go down to Open Printer Manager. Here we can see any print drivers that are installed currently, just like in the control panel. If we want to add a follow user queue, we can choose Add Queues, then choose Follow User Queue. Let's go ahead and give one a name, just of Follow User. Let's go ahead and pick a driver. I went ahead and installed the Xerox Global Print Driver, PCL6. Then we'll give it a couple virtual ports. This is the amount of concurrent jobs the server will accept at a time. A lot of people think you need one port for every user. That is absolutely not true. Even if you have 100 users, realistically, maybe you might need 5 to 10 ports open for them. Then we can highlight the follow user driver and go to Properties. Within Properties, let's go to Administration. We can go ahead and under Configuration change from basic printing mode to give it a machine specific or machine look and feel. In this case, we're going to go ahead and choose a pretty standard machine that's out there in the field right now. So a Xerox Altalink C8145. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK so that it closes this out. Then go back into Properties again. And now we're going to get more options that a Xerox C8145 would have. Let's go ahead and choose the Configuration tab. And from here, we're going to specify how many trays the device has. In this case, I am going to go with 5 trays, but instead of a standard offset finisher, let's choose an office finisher. Let's go ahead and select a hole punch. And we're going to install the LandFax module for the driver. Now that we have all those features enabled, let's go ahead and go down and choose OK. And then we'll go back into Properties one more time. And this time we're going to go to Advanced and then Printing Defaults. And then from within here, we're going to go ahead and set some of our standard defaults. Like, let's change two-sided printing to single-sided. And then turn black and white on by default. Some people are used to going to the Image Options tab. Here you can still check or uncheck for black and white there. Then let's go to the Advanced tab and make sure Job ID or banner page is turned off. Let's go ahead and choose Apply, hit OK to go back. Choose OK again to go back. We'll dig a bit deeper into print drivers and follow user queues in a separate video. Now let's go ahead and go back. Let's go back to the top and choose Service Settings. Under Wi-Fi settings, you can customize the name that is displayed for Mopria and iOS devices. Notice that both under IPP and Wi-Fi settings, the IP address is a drop-down option. This allows your server to advertise on whichever network adapter you wish. Job folder settings allow you to use whatever folder you wish to store your pending follow user jobs. Let's take a look at database settings. Under database settings, we can actually change the server. We can also change our authentication type from a native SA account to, say, a Windows authentication. We can go ahead and test the connection to see if it's still working properly. I personally prefer using the dedicated SA account with a password. A lot of people want to use a Windows authentication login account. The problem with this is if the password changes or there's a policy that requires the password to change, you have to go in here and change it or else it will fail every single time. To implement the user account, you need to go back to Service Management, then change to User Account under Service Authentication, type in your domain name, username, and password. Then you would choose Save Settings to make the change. I want to caution you though that this is the #1 reason PrintAnyWay has a failure. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back to the native authentication with the SA account. Then let's go ahead and test the connection again, make sure everything's working like we expect it to. Let's go ahead and open up the database manager. The Database Manager allows us to run SQL commands without having to install the SQL Management Console. Let's go ahead and close out of the Database Manager. This really concludes our quick tutorial of the Service Manager for PrintAnyWay Core. Before you exit, go ahead and save any settings if you've made any changes, and go ahead and choose Close. Please check out our other videos for any helpful tips and tricks you may need.